All right, thank you very much. Hello, everybody. Yes, it's your good friend Pozzible here, and we got Joe.
How's it going?
With Bucky.
Hey there.
And if you're here and we're listening to all three of us, and it's time for the next batch. What's coming out the first? It's not the first weekend of August. This is the first weekend of August. This is the second weekend of August.
No, next is the second weekend of August.
Well, it's going pretty fast, I have to admit. But what's coming out around the 9th? Well, we can't tell you yet. You know why? Because they're releasing movies out on Wednesday. Why are they doing that?
Sometimes they do that.
I guess so. So basically the next batch always comes out on Wednesday. What came out today? We're the Millers. This is hilarious. Doesn't this look funny?
I like the trailers for it.
Yes. Basically, you've got this guy, and Jason, whatever his last name
Sudeikis?
is. Nobody can pronounce it.
I think Sudeikis, something like that.
Yeah. But anyway, he's this like drug dealer, pot dealer, doesn't have a lot of money, but he gets this offer from like a
Actually, he's just a regular working man. His boss asks him to get marijuana from across the border.
But doesn't she, Jennifer Aniston, say that he's a pot dealer?
When she finds out about what the plan is.
Right. And basically he just has to bring a smidge of marijuana from across the border. And so he's worried because he's a single guy, One person crossing the border is a big red flag for criminal activity. And so he gets the idea from this kid, his neighbor's kid, or I don't know.
Dorky kid, basically to go as a family.
Mm-hmm.
That way they're not so far on the radar.
So he's got to pay. So he gets him. He gets Emma Roberts, and he gets Jennifer Aniston to pose as his family. And it's just the scenes in the movie look really funny. There's just one huge drawback I have on this. Okay, We're the Millers basically is supposed to feature Jennifer Aniston as a stripper, and there's this one part where she actually strips. There's going to be many parts where she strips, but guess what, guys?
Well, that's a strip tease. There's a difference.
Yeah, exactly. It's a strip tease. It's quote-unquote stripping because basically she's still going to have her lingerie on. This is rated R. So am I the only one asking the question, why is she leaving all her clothes on?
She's Jennifer Aniston.
Well, if you're not going to go all the way, don't be in a movie like this. That's the point of it. Or are we going to have another Star Trek moment where it's like, oh, it's gratuitous? It's like, come on, give me a break.
I have no idea. People, pretty much, I thought she was a lot hotter when she was on Friends. I've seen, maybe half of her movies, if that. Mm-hmm. And to my knowledge, she has never, ever shown, we'll just call it the goods. To keep this clean rating.
Yes, and you're right. And so basically, if you've seen it on the Red Band trailer...
I'm seeing it more for Emma Roberts anyway.
Yeah, that would be my movie.
Yes. I still give it a see it, because I give it to see it for the whole plot, the whole funny action that everyone goes through. They just seem to really work well with each other and against each other. It's like the first time the boy meets Emma Roberts, he hugs her and says, "Oh, you're my sister," and she's like, "Get it off of me." And what's funny is during the striptease, Jason hits the kid saying, "Have some respect. That's your mother." And of course, it's not his mother. And this whole family thing, it just, I don't know. The trailer sold it, right? So I say see it. Bucky, what do you say?
It looks hilarious. I think each one is going to play the roles very well. Like I said, I'm seeing it just for Emma Roberts. I keep wanting to say Emma Watson, but it's Emma Roberts.
Right.
But
too many Emmas in Hollywood anymore.
Yeah,
exactly. So I am definitely seeing it.
Joe.
Yeah, I will give it a C. It does look pretty funny. Mm-hmm. Looks pretty cool.
Next up, we got Percy Jackson and the extremely spread out poster, Sea of Monsters. It actually started off really small. I had to spread it out, okay? Basically, we're getting back with the demigods. Percy Jackson, of course, is the son of Poseidon. And, we got another problem where for some reason, once again, the gods themselves don't want to solve this. It's up to the demigods. And guess who they're going to resurrect? Kronos.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can't have Greek mythology without bringing Kronos into it at any one time.
Which one was Kronos?
Joe, tell him.
Kronos was the god of time, wasn't he?
Nope.
The god of...
I'll give you a hint. Don't start with any kind of god of anything. Ding dong, ding dong. Okay, time's up. Kronos was a Titan.
That's right.
As Zeus was the king of the gods, Kronos was the king of the Titans. The Titans came before the gods, and it's so funny. One thing that's interesting about Greek mythology, if this is really supposed to be Greek mythology, why isn't Percy trying to kill Poseidon? Because almost in every other Greek mythology, the son's always trying to kill the father. When the Titans began producing the gods in Greek mythology, they killed them because they always knew that the son of Kronos would come out and one day rise up and kill him or take over. Because I don't think you can really kill Kronos per se, but what you can do is imprison him.
Right.
And that's what Zeus did. And then Zeus grew up with all his brothers and sisters to be, to rule over the gods. And then they made humans. Now, I don't remember who it was exactly.
Who was it exactly? But
there was this one guy who knew who would ultimately destroy Zeus. And yes, people, it wasn't the guy from God of War.
Kratos?
Yeah, it wasn't Kratos, okay? But they did chain him up. And they had a buzzard eat his kidneys every day, and then the kidneys would regrow every night. But the guy still would never talk, and eventually he did talk. No. Zeus finally learned that you can't always get your way by being a bully. So he let him go, he healed him up, he stopped torturing him, and eventually the guy did tell him, from what I understand. The reason why I say from what I understand is because this is one of my problems with Percy Jackson and any movie dealing with Greek mythology. It gets rewritten and rewritten and rewritten. Okay? I like my mythology the way I knew it. You don't have to rewrite the past. Give us a good future, but don't rewrite the past. Ultimately, I don't know. The movie just seems okay. Like, there's nothing going to be really anything wrong with it. But if you know Greek mythology, you might struggle with this movie because your understanding of Greek mythology is going to be different than what they present. Okay?
Well, that's a good point.
But ultimately, Joe, what did you think of the previews?
I thought it was decent. Like, I definitely have an interest in this movie because I did study a little Greek mythology, and Poseidon was one of my favorite gods.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I probably won't see this one in theaters, but I do want to see it at some point.
Did you ever see the first one?
No.
It's actually not bad. Bucky, what was your opinion? Did you ever see the first one?
No.
Yeah.
I thought, when I saw the trailers for the first one, I just thought the acting in it looked hammy. I mean, I understand if teenagers and kids want to see it. It does seem like a kid's movie. It looks interesting as a kid's movie. But the thing is, there's just something about this movie that is not sitting well with me.
You had that too. There's that feeling. There's just like something's just missing from this movie.
I mean, even the effects of the sea monster in the trailer just seem a bit off. I don't know what it is.
No. I mean, that's ultimately my issue. And, that's the problem with Percy Jackson for me. I want to give it a see it, but one thing about it, it's going to be too safe. Secondly, knowing so much of Greek mythology, and I'm no expert, don't get me wrong, but what I know of it, they're going to change a lot of it, so it's going to be difficult. But there is something in the trailers that is missing. That's why I ultimately give this a pass. I just don't think it's... And besides, to be honest, guys, it's a sequel. And this is not like a Harry Potter sequel where number 1 and number 2 and number 3 are so connected you have to watch it. It's just another sequel. So these things, they never really make it, And what are they going after? This is something you're familiar with, Joe. Did you hear about what they're going after? To stop Kronos?
I think I heard it. I can't remember that.
The Golden Fleece.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the famous Golden Fleece. And you know what, guys? For people like me who have played God of War and have seen and read all the old books on mythology, this one just doesn't have the magic that they had back then. So I got to give it a pass. Sorry, guys. What do you think, Buck?
I'm going to pretty much give it a pass. Unless you're a kid or a teenager, you may like it. But there's just nothing in it for me.
Joe?
I would do your decide for yourself.
You do decide.
Because, like I said, I have a little bit of an interest in it. It's not a movie. it's not like Star Wars where I get up and go to the theater opening day. It's not
Right.
like that. It's one that, you know what, if I'm in the right place, right time, I would love to see it.
Okay. You know what? I will say one more thing just to close up Percy Jackson. If you're not familiar with the Greek mythology and you did like the first one, then probably see it. I mean, the first one was okay, but the first one just missed out on any intensity. Everything was just happening, and they were trying to do this whole Greek mythology in modern day type of thing. It just didn't connect as well as it could have. You know, the humor just wasn't as funny as I wanted it to be. But that's just me. That's just me. In the meantime, that's it for Wednesday. Saturday, the actual weekend starts off with.
Friday.
Oh, thank you. Well, it's Saturday today. Starts off with planes. That's right. If you loved cars, you'll love planes. Or maybe if you don't like cars, like I didn't care for cars, but I do love planes. So that's why I just cannot wait to see this movie. However, if you've seen Cars, guess what?
You've seen planes.
You've probably seen planes already. I mean, let's face it. We got this crop dusting plane who wants to be a racer. And now, you know, he's got to get himself into the world of racing and prove himself worthy. The funny part to me, ultimately, I was watching the trailer with Joe again. They give him a love interest. And I don't know, was it just me or was it wrong that they started the love interest by him looking at the girl from the back of the plane? Was that just a mistake or something?
No, I think isn't that usually how they do it? Yeah,
How would the planes procreate?
Let's not go there, okay? We try to keep it up.
open the cargo door.
No, but this brings up a good question. If the main plane likes two planes, is that where they get the term biplane?
Oh my god. Okay, well now we're going to put a adult warning on this label. You know.
How is it adult? It's just an innocent question.
But there's nothing innocent
like
now.
An NSFW? Or
Yeah.
No, it only has to say NSFW if we say the word fuck or something.
Oh, thank you. Now we're NSFW.
Yes, now we are.
Great.
If we put a label, at least let's earn it.
Ah, great. Okay, now we're banned. Okay. But you know what?
Which band are we? Rock band?
Not that kind of band. BANNED. Okay. Here's the thing about planes, though. Ultimately, is that I hope I'm right about this. They better get the 3D right. I've been to movies like R.I.P.D. and Pacific Rim. Enormous amount of opportunity to get 3D right. They bombed it, but cartoons, they never bomb it.
I was going to say, with 3D, though, you can't ever go wrong with an animated movie in 3D.
Yeah, I can see that one.
I mean, let's face it, we know this is for kids, but this is also Disney. And Disney does it right where you have the kid element, but you also have something that's not bad for parents. The problem is, the Cars already came out first, you know? And we have this cliche now.
It makes me wonder what movie's next. Bikes?
No.
Chopper, you said. Remember?
No.
Choppers.
Helicopters.
No, you guys are missing it.
Shuttles?
No, boats.
Oh, of course.
We got them on land, we got them in the air, then we need them at sea.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, and we can do that.
And then we can do a crossover.
Crossover. Yeah. Well, what would you call that?
Planes, trains. We don't have trains yet.
Planes, trains, and automobiles. It's been taken. But yeah.
They would do planes,
You can use
trains,
the
and
same
cars.
Huh?
Planes, trains, and cars.
Yeah. Train. You know what, though? That would be interesting. If they really could come up with a whole, they've already done
You can't really do trains because it's always on a one-track mind.
But you know what?
Everybody would
Yeah.
be thinking of Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yeah, exactly.
Thomas was like a train that looked similar to these things.
But you know what? That would be interesting if they could actually do something like that. You have your cars, you have your planes now. Get some boats, get some trains, and have like an Avengers type of thing.
If they did do a trains movie, I want one of them trains to say, "I think I can."
Yes.
That would be the ultimate.
I would actually agree with that. That would actually be the main purpose of seeing it.
I think I can, exactly.
And with boats, they better have "You sank my battleship." Because they didn't say it in the movie Battleship.
I know. Well, then again, they had opportunities. Battleships.
Exactly.
Oh, no, they didn't sink battleships. They sank destroyers. The battleship was the only one they didn't sink.
Oh.
Yeah, so there you go.
They didn't sink our battleship. There you go.
Don't worry. They won't sink our battleship. But you know what? I mean, let's face it. It's for kids. It's going to be safe. It's Disney. See it. I can't give it anything else. Joe, what's your opinion?
I got to say, see it. I'm not a movie person like I've said so many times, but this... It's Disney planes. It looks really cool.
Yeah. If you haven't seen Cars, you'll love it. If you've seen Cars, you'll be like, hey, I've seen this before, only on the ground.
That's really my only problem with this. It's if they went with some storyline that was different, I might say see it. But it's pretty much the exact same storyline as Cars.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're just basically doing the cash cow thing. They're going to create boats with the exact same storyline. They're going to create
little
trains.
tugboats going to be going.
Exactly. They're going to create trains. They're going to create bikes. They're going to with eyes and everything.
Oh, yeah, running around.
Yeah, how are they going to see where they're going without the eye?
Let's be honest. The real ultimate truth is this movie, the money that this movie will make will not come from the movie itself. It'll come from the toys, the T-shirts,
Oh, definitely.
the bed sheets, the
McDonald's toys.
McDonald's toys, exactly. What's that?
I'm wondering about that because it's coming out. The Disney is coming out with that video game Infinity. I believe it's called. I wonder if they're going to make these where they're going to have the planes world because the Cars is already a part of it.
Yeah. Well,
so I wonder if they're going to incorporate planes into that game as well.
Well, I'll tell you something. There's one reason, and one big reason alone, you need to see this movie, and this movie needs to be a big hit. And it's not just because Lone Ranger was such a big bomb. No. It's because of California Adventure. They have the place like soaring over California. They have this whole airplane-themed land that's like a little toe compared to everything else. This could explode that into a big area. And to be honest, guys, I love planes. So I got it. And I hope they do have some choppers in it, or they make choppers next, or boats, or shuttles, or whatever you want it to be. All right, last but not least, this Friday comes up Elysium.
You did that good.
I said it right. I've been struggling with the name. You know what, though? Elysium, for me, has the same problem with Cars. In that it looks too much like District 9.
Oh.
And I try to get past that because, it's supposed to be a different story, but let's face it, you got another one of these situations where the have-nots are on Earth and the haves are up in Elysium, right? And on Elysium, they have everything. They got food, they got water, they've got this ability to cure any kind of disease before you know it. And now we have, down at the bottom, Matt Damon. Matt Damon, who's, because of some factory accident, gets a lot of cancer and has only 5 days to live, gets hooked up with this very big machine here, and is able to break into Elysium and hopefully cure himself and maybe even save everyone. And you know what? Everyone at the bottom looks like they're in District 9 again. And it's just, I like District 9. It was okay, but the movie kind of fell apart for me. I didn't care for the ending. I liked the beginning. It had a great setup. I just didn't like where they went with it. That said, here's my hope. Matt Damon, Jodie Foster, two very big names in the movie industry because they like to make their movies differently. And they said that. They said that this is going to be different than any other popcorn fare. I don't know if that's going to be true or not, but I'm giving faith. Besides, I like them. I like Matt Damon. I like Jodie Foster. So the movie gets to see it, ultimately. However, my hugest complaint, this should have been a video game. Come on, I see him with that little hand thing. He flicks something and the car blows up. That reminds me of some sort of first-person shooter game called like Time Shifters or something.
Infamous?
No, not Infamous. But it was a first-person shooter where this guy had like this hand glove type of thing, and you see him holding people up with it. And that's
Psyops.
Not Psyops. Not Psyops.
Second Sight?
Not Second Sight. I think it was like Time. It had time in it.
Oh, okay.
Time Shifters or Time Shapers or something. When I first saw that, I thought, oh my god, this is a video game. But you know what? I've been thinking a lot about that. That when you see a movie, that movie should have been a video game. R.I.P.D. should have been a video game. How do you mess up Iron Man video games? They made 2 of them. They didn't want to make the 3rd one. Because
the first 2 flopped.
But how do you mess that up?
You make it into a flight simulator or nothing else.
They did have some.
Was that what is that what the games were?
Yeah.
No, but it was not. It was based on the Iron Man movie. But the only part that was any fun was flying.
Yeah.
The combat really wasn't fun. The story wasn't really fun. So they say if you want a good flight simulator, get Iron Man. If not, then pick something else.
You know who else gets screwed on video games? And how do you mess this up? Superman. How do you make a bad game with somebody who can fly and is impervious. And
Okay,
They should have stopped after the Atari game. That was the best one.
What's the he doesn't have a health line. I mean, like in Superman Returns, the health line was the damage to the city.
yes,
That was his health meter.
well, Superman Returns was just very difficult to find anything. The map was terrible. The fighting was terrible. You either moved too fast and you couldn't hit anything, or you moved too slow and you got hit all the time. And the city blew up anyway.
Okay, getting back on topic.
Oh, what are we talking about?
Elysium.
Oh, that's a movie coming out this weekend.
Yes, and I will say this is the movie I'm excited about. This is going to be my big see it for this week because Matt Damon, he's really upped the bar since his Dogma days, and Jodie Foster. The past few movies she's done have not been that good, but I don't blame her. She did act it the best she could because she hasn't been in a good movie since
1976.
Contact.
Maverick.
Taxi Driver.
Freaky Friday.
Anyway.
See Candle Shoe. That was actually pretty good.
But
Silence of the Lambs.
still, I think they cast it pretty well. Having Matt Damon as the everyman. Bald for some reason, but I can't wait to see the way he gets up to Elysium. That's what's interesting.
He's wearing it right now.
Is that like a rocket or something? Or
yeah. Well, basically, from what I understand, and maybe I could be wrong about this outfit that he has some sort of virus or something, where he can get on a ship and it will drop all of Elysium's defenses.
Yeah,
And-
it has a way to get through.
and Jodie Foster does seem cast pretty well as the
Badass.
head of the system, basically.
Exactly.
You see her as the head, and you just want to the head of the snake, and you just want to cut off the head of the snake.
The person who would pretty much shoot anything down without a second thought.
Exactly. I think these two would work well together in the movie, and now we get to see it together.
Joe.
Yeah.
What did you think of it so far?
I actually was intrigued by the trailer. This isn't the type of movie I normally would see, but after watching the trailer, it was like it does look really good, especially like Bucky said, how he gets to Elysium. That's like a big drawing point for me.
Well, you couldn't have talked longer. I still had ice in my mouth. Anyway, I will say this one thing about Elysium. When it comes to this one, as opposed to all the other three, this is one where I'm really not sure how it ends.
See, and that's a good thing. The trailers should show you enough to get you interested, but not ruin the whole movie.
Right.
Let's face it. With planes, we know he's going to win the race at the end.
Oh, spoiler!
Let's face it. It's a kid's movie. It doesn't matter.
You know what? That's not true. Sometimes he does lose. They might be like, okay, listen, guys.
It's the moral victory thing.
It's the moral victory thing.
It's the inner victory.
You tried your hardest. You improved so much.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what place you came in.
Exactly. And we all know in real life that's bullcrap.
Well, but still.
But with this,
yeah.
with it, considering it's done by the director of District 9, who knows what the twist will be towards the end,
Right. Well, the one thing that's been my biggest turnoff, and I'm trying to get over this, one movie came out recently, and this has been a foreign movie, so we didn't get to see it, but I saw the trailer. It has a very similar premise as Elysium, Hunger Games, and every one of this huge class warfare, where between the have-nots and the haves, and the biggest thing is, it's that battle between the two. And this one, guys, was done on a train. Okay? Yes, you heard me correctly. On a train, at the back of the train, you've got the have-nots. At the front of the train, you've got the haves. And there's a revolt. Oh, that's original. As the have-nots try to join the haves and have what they have. Why can't we have it the other way around? Why can't the haves, come down and battle the have-nots for what they have?
I'm wondering how many more times you could say the word have in a sentence.
Apparently I can say it a lot!
He was doing them halves in rapid fire there.
Yeah, well, it's all have-nots, and, it's getting a little old, I have to admit, the class warfare movies, because we've seen them so many times now.
But still, it's not so much that we've seen them, it's that I don't mind them if they're done in an interesting way.
And that's what I'm expecting from this.
Exactly.
As opposed to the train movie.
So of course, Matt Damon, in the movie he's going to be a moral person because he's the hero of the movie. Mm-hmm. But then again, this may be a movie where he loses. You never know.
It is very possible. But then again, it could also be... Can I just give you one of my theories, okay?
No, wait until after this podcast.
All right.
Just so we don't spoil
Yeah, I don't want to spoil it for the rest of the people. That is true. You know what? We'll talk about it when we see it. Because let's face it, I think we all agree. Of the 3 movies, this one, I mean, I'm looking forward to almost all of them. You know, even Percy Jackson, it's very kiddie, but it doesn't have planes in it. But that one's kind of my least one. Planes, I want to see it just because it's planes. Of course, We're the Millers. Come on, that just looks funny. But Elysium, I think this is number 1 on the list, isn't it?
Yeah, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure, but
What would you say was number 1? What's your order?
Of those 4, which one would you want to see the most? If they gave you a free pass to see one of those 4 movies, which one would you want to see first?
God, that's a tough one because I don't know. Because none of them really are like up in that, oh, I want to see this one for me. But, you know, they all
the thing
got
is, I'm
some
only putting
interesting
We're the
thing.
Millers second, only because for the longest time I've always had a problem with movies that show drugs in a positive light. You know, so unless there's some drawback we see in the movie, which I'm really hoping for, because as you know, I'm mostly anti-drug, but there are exceptions to that. You know, if someone needs it for
Medicinal purposes.
exactly.
But I don't think this is a very pro-drug movie.
That's
Yeah.
why it's second.
I would probably say that would probably be my number 1. If I had a free pass to go see the movies, I would probably do The Millers first, and then probably Planes, and then the Percy Jackson, and then this one.
Really?
Yeah, but I mean, they're all like really close on my list here.
To me, Elysium is head and shoulders above the others. But
It's not my style of movie, that's why. But
right.
it
I mean,
looks
just
good.
based on the trailers, I'd give Elysium a 10. We're the Millers maybe a 7 or 8. And the other 2 about 1s or 2s.
Yeah.
But only because the other 2 are not really my type of movie.
That's the thing. That's why Elysium is so far down. I mean, on mine is just because it's not my type of movie.
Exactly.
But
I understand
I cannot. If someone comes out of Elysium saying, "Man, that was a great movie," I'll say, "Well, I kind of expected that."
Yeah.
Right. I'll probably be saying that.
Okay, and then that'll surprise me.
So we all have high hopes coming up at the theaters, guys. And whatever you do this weekend, I hope you enjoy yourselves. We'll see you at the theater. Take care.
Goodbye.